Hello, welcome to this DCS A-18C tutorial video. Today I will be providing another air-to-air example on our Persian Gulf server. I will be utilizing the standard air-to-air loadout covered previously, in addition to 2 harms on the empty pylons for defensive shots should I be engaged by enemy SAMs. Our Persian Gulf server is a long-term mission utilizing the fog of war mechanic and a variety of ground units, SAMs, and enemy aircraft. Scattered out here are numerous enemy SAMs connected to a smart IAD system, so they will not follow the default DCS logic of firing on me as soon as I am in their engagement zones, as you see on my SA page. So I will fly out, engage some hostiles, attempt to defend utilizing the harms from SAMs, and try to make it home. In an effort to prevent you from having to watch me fly all the way out there, I will pause the video here and resume as soon as I get close enough to start approaching engagement distances. Alrighty, I'm starting to approach engagement distances. Because of the fog of war, I only know these targets are out here because they're being detected by our friendly AWACS. So I'm going to fly towards them, engage who I can, and if I get engaged by enemy SAMs, I will utilize my harms already set up in self-protect override to try and defend myself. You can see there are quite a few threats out here, plus those aircraft. So I see they're at about 37,000 feet, and then there's something out in this direction that I cannot detect through data link. So I'm going to prioritize these targets over on this side first. All of the aircraft on this server are a mix of veteran and ace difficulties, along with randomly spawning aircraft of various types and armaments. I'm approaching a range where I might be able to lock them. They're showing 42 miles, so I'm going to go into spot search. Always keeping an eye on my SA and my attack radar for an idea of what's happening around me. It looks like I might have a threat off to my left. I see those targets are about 53 miles out, so I'm going to keep those in mind as I move to engage these. Those targets off to my left are getting fairly close. I'm once again always going to keep an eye on my SA. I see they're now turning away from me, so I don't believe that they are an imminent threat. Alright, it looks like that's where those targets are. Data link shows them as going 0.9 Mach away from me, and I'm going 1.11 Mach, so I'm slowly gaining on them. They are still at about 38,000 feet, according to the data link. I will not tunnel vision on them. I will always keep an eye on my SA page to make sure I'm not going to be jumped by someone I'm not aware of. So I see that group of targets about 43 miles away, so once again, I will keep their location in the back of my mind to make sure I'm not caught unaware. I can see them visually, little specks out there. I don't know if it will come through the YouTube compression. So at this point, they show 34 miles away. I'm just waiting on a lock. They are facing away from me, so they will be harder to lock than if they were facing head on. Keeping tabs on those units to my left. Make sure no one's coming up behind me. And I have a lock. Keep in mind that utilizing the SA and the data link will not give an all-knowing picture about everything in the sky. It is just what the AWACS is able to see, so it is entirely possible, I'm being fired on, so I'm doing my defensive dive. It is entirely possible that there are enemy units sneaking through the valleys or where there cannot be detected up on me. So I always need to be looking around me in an active combat zone like this, being prepared to engage or go defensive. Long acquisition mode. Splash the one. I'm going to fire this missile, even though I know it probably won't hit based on the ranging queue, just to keep him defensive and allow me to get closer. He was locking me, but now he realizes he has a missile inbound. Even though I know it's not going to hit him, he doesn't. So that prevented him from continuing his lock on me. He's now flying into me and away from me, so I'm able to posture easier to make a follow-up shot to kill him. Keeping an eye out for those other units, it looks like they're getting further away. He's still trying to evade that missile that I knew was not going to hit when I fired, allowing me to get into a better position to engage and destroy him. He's finally realized the missile isn't going to hit, and if he turns back into me, it's going to put me in a perfect position to fire on him. I have a shoot queue, but I only have 3 missiles, and I'm surrounded out here, so I want to be very careful with my shots and guarantee a kill. Keeping an eye on my fuel as I go. If I can, I'm going to sneak up close and use a Sidewinder or my guns. Keep an eye on those units down there, because I don't know what they are. It's entirely possible there are anti-air units down there. Yep, I'm being locked by a SAM. Harm came up. Fire my harm. Sidewinder on the SU. Pop some countermeasures. Harm again. Fire. Self-protect. And I'm going to get out of dodge. Can see quite a few smoke trails coming from out at sea. So there's something out there that really doesn't like me. Get another eye on my SA. Looks like I have targets closing in on me. Those units I mentioned earlier are now inbound. I have those missiles. I'm not too worried about them at the moment. Alright, so that was a successful engagement, and utilizing the harms in a self-defense manner. I'm probably going to be shot down if I re-engage, so I could exit the area, head back to the fleet or a friendly base, but for the purpose of this example, I'm going to turn into these units and see what I can do before I get shot down. I see that they're in the middle of some heavy SAM coverage, so I'm probably going to be shot by SAMs, or by their missiles while I evade SAMs. But I'll give it the good old college try. Back to manual. Spot search. And hopefully I'll get a lock. Lock. They're much higher than I am, so I have to wait till I get closer to fire my missiles because speed and altitude equals range. And I do not have the altitude even though I have the speed. Keep in mind, if I was actually flying this mission not in a tutorial fashion, I would have exited the area and made my way home because of my fuel state. Here, I'm just going to see if I can get into another engagement for an example. Probably going to be shot down. Ooh, that's a SAM field down there. Hopefully they don't take an interest in me. Alright, I'm being locked up by a Big Bird radar, SA-10. Gonna turn on my jammer. Pop some shaft. Only have 12 left. There are all the SAMs. Oh, and a whole lot of 120s from those F-16s. Splash one F-16. That SAM is probably going to hit me. Dodge the 120s. Dodge the SAMs. Utilizing defensive turns. Turning back, re-evaluating, re-engaging. LHAQ, jammer off. I locked his missile. I fired on his missile to try and save my life because I'm probably not avoiding it. Yep, could not avoid it. Hopefully that was a good example of how to operate in a hectic zone like this, and a good idea of when to pull out. And if you continue to engage like this, a good idea of knowing your limits and that you'll probably be shot down, even if you evade a bunch of missiles and SAMs and get a kill or two like you just saw. Thanks for watching.